Good afternoon, everybody. I'm James Cronenberger. Today, I figured we'd talk a little bit on second chances because I know how unfair society can be towards people that had troubled pasts. Um, some worse than others, but all people deserve a chance in life. And I noticed that our legislators in Ohio and our governor are probably the worst when it comes to giving people chances. When we register to vote, it gives us the right that everybody else has in the state of Ohio, that we can vote for the candidate of our choice, who we think would be the best candidate, the people with the values that we believe in, and so forth. And you would think that they would have a responsibility to meet with people that vote for them or that can vote. But that's not the case, at least not in the state of Ohio. I've known people that try to make appointments with different legislators. At one time, a couple of the state senators said they're going to do background checks on before they meet with anybody. So does that mean for how many millions we have in the state of Ohio, they're going to do background checks? Or are they going to single one out? I remember I was going to meet with a state rep regarding a proposal to reform the parole board. This is a couple of years ago now. And, he kept saying, yes, we're going to meet with you. And, he was a black Republican, and black people usually have more compassion towards people because of how they were mistreated. Well, I get an email from him stating, after doing research on your past and your background, I am no longer willing to meet with you. Now, to me, that seems like he singled me out, out of everybody else. He singled me out instead of, meeting with me as he promised. And I was more disappointed in him because I thought, he would be the one that could really help us out. But it wasn't that way. And I could see why so many people today, adults, have this problem of believing people can change, not judging people. And that was because of the way they raised their kids. And the way those people today are raising their kids, to be judgmental instead of believing that God can forgive, and God does forgive. 1 John 1:9, it states he will forgive us. And then in the Lord's Prayer, it talks about if you don't forgive others, how do you expect God to forgive us? Well, it's good to talk a good game. But when you actually do what's right, that's not always the politically correct form, not just in Ohio, but in our nation. If you look at the way our legislators are, even listening to the Senate and Congress, and I agree we can't just let, people into our country, illegally. And I understand that people that commit crimes need to be held accountable. But our legislators will only bring up certain crimes. And to God, all crime is equal. It's not like one's worse than the other. They each hurt people in a different way. We have a governor in the state of Ohio that only thinks as a prosecutor, because that's what he was with Greene County years ago, but he's not open-minded, and is not willing to learn about the system that he locked people up for so many years. We need people in office that care about people. That doesn't mean to just let people walk away with doing whatever they want to do. No, I'm not asking for that. But I am asking for a society that will be a little bit kinder to people. When I was a child, we used to say hi to our neighbors. My mother would invite neighbors over for iced tea or cookies once in a while, and everybody showed each other respect. Now you can't even talk to your neighbors, or you don't know what they're doing. And a lot of crimes happening, so you got to be careful who you invite over. I mean, I trusted the wrong people before, thinking that they've changed. I was wrong on that. But I'm not going to sit here and bash them because of every little thing they did wrong. I'm going to pray for them that God will change their hearts. And that's what I'm hoping that those that actually listen to this today, even the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections, they won't even talk to me, but they're the ones that promote rehabilitation. They won't talk to me because I put them on the spot regarding the parole board and some other things. Then some people called them up, told them lies. When my roommate was alive, he was using my JPay to contact people up there, and I got blamed for it. They're no better than anybody else. Our prison system is a big money-making machine. And if they start just releasing people, they're going to lose money because they get so much each year for each inmate. If you reoffend when you get out, they get so much money. And I'd like to see that stop because our number one goal should be rehabilitation and keeping people out. And to keep people out, it takes everybody in a sense, if you're going to put pressure on people when they get out or harass them, throw rocks at them, call them names, it's going to get them to go back to, it's going to cause them not to be able to think clearly. That doesn't mean you have to invite them into your house or anything, but what's wrong with saying hi to them or waving to them or being nice? Or are you the type of person that believes you're the only holy one and the only righteous one, so you have the right to sit there and bash people? I've taken ex-offenders to different churches in Columbus, and I've had the pastor come up to me and say, we would appreciate it if you take these guys someplace else. I thought a church was a sanctuary for the sinner, for the person to get right with God. If they don't have a right to worship, and then it says in the Bible to fellowship with other believers, but if they don't have the right to worship God with others, how does that happen? When I go to heaven, I think I'm going to ask God a lot of these questions because I'm curious why our world is so mean and cruel. Why is our legislators mean and cruel? They think about their own personal agendas, what would get them elected, not necessarily about what's doing right. So before we vote, let's vote for the candidate that's actually going to be fair. Let's work on being nicer to our fellow men. Say hi to people on the street. Open the door for people. Ask people if you can help them if they're struggling. If they need help bringing the trash can in, if it's an older lady, give her a hand. It's not going to hurt any of us to go the extra mile. And I would really like people to actually sit down and think what is really important to them. Are you going to be part of the solution, or are you going to be part of the negative part of people and put them down and be mean to others? We talk about bullying in school. There's bullying on Facebook, and I've had plenty of that towards me, literally bullying. And that's a crime in itself. And how many of you have not done anything wrong where you could not have ended up in prison? I bet there's some of you that could have. You just didn't get caught. And if you're doing stuff now that's illegal, you have a chance to change and start doing the right thing. But only you can decide that. With the power of prayer and God's help, you can overcome any addiction you may have or any issues you may have. But it starts within you and your personal relationship with God. Okay, everybody, I really appreciate having this chat with you. It's just food for thought. Have yourself a great night.